3C, 5E, and CRA. Using these, let us see how to learn in a group. To begin with, let us make groups in a class. If you have 20 to 25 students in a class, it is better to make 5 to 6 groups. Group management becomes easy. How many children in a group? 5 to 6 students would be ideal to manage. How to form the groups? A group should have boys and girls, and their learning levels should be different. So there should be below average, average, and above average children as well. So the possibility of learning from peers will increase. So when in groups, when we begin, after making them into groups, every group should have a name. So this makes it easier for them to recognize the group. And then what we do is, we make a group chart. The group chart will have many details. We write about the group members and their scoring. What are the marks obtained by each group will be recorded. With this, it is easy to motivate the children. What we do here is, if a group has 5 students, we give them a code. Each child gets a code. Maybe ABCD or AEIOU or Kacha Tata Pa. When we give a code, each group would have a Ka, one Ga, etc. It becomes easy for us to give a learning opportunity to all the children. When the facilitator says all A's stand up, all A's would get up. And every child need not be addressed by their given name. What happens in group learning is, sometimes we get a multigrade situation. In this situation, we get students from different grades. Sometimes multi-level, that is, students from different levels will also be there. We have to keep these points in mind and facilitate learning. Every group should have a name, and every group should have a boy and a girl as a leader. And leadership has to change from time to time. If we do this, every child would get a chance to be a leader. So now, how do we manage these groups? Initially, the facilitators can manage them. Individual members can also manage, and the leaders can also manage. One group can manage the other group. When you use such varied techniques, there will be more effective ways of learning and understanding. And children can also learn in different ways. If we follow it as a routine, the children tend to lose interest in it. Since we have used different approaches, they will retain the interest to learn the concept. These are the different ways of managing groups. Let us look at the benefits of group learning. Here, every child has a chance for self-learning and learning from peers as well. And every child would get a chance to be a leader. Children are not likely to lose concentration because they do not know when the facilitator would call their name, and when they have to give an answer is not known. Hence, they will have to stay attentive at all times. So, because of these group activities, they will develop a sportive spirit. Children learn through the games they play with their peers and friends, so the learning will happen and they will be happy as well. They do not have to be in a single place and listen to a lecture from the teachers, and this will not be a boring exercise. They can talk to their classmates, exchange their thoughts, and learn very well in an interactive method. Normally what happens is, bright students or enthusiastic students give the answers first. Some of the shy students might not even get a chance to answer. But in group learning, since the facilitator calls out a particular student's name, every student will get a chance to answer the question. That is one of the biggest benefits of learning in a group. Let us see how using 5E model can be implemented in group learning. In the first stage of Engage, what we do is, through a story or songs, we make them sit in the form of a circle, this is called circle time, and make them do activities. In the Explore stage, what we do is, we demonstrate to the children in different ways. First, the facilitators use the different learning tools and give a demonstration to the children. The group members will observe this. The facilitators will approach a child and ask him or her to explain what they just demonstrated. This is the explain stage. The second type of explore is from every group, either the leader or a member should volunteer to demonstrate to the entire class and teach the concept using the learning tools. And then the facilitators should ask a student to explain the concept. The third type of explore is where the facilitator would have given a responsibility to each member and they'll have to do it. That is, A, you give a problem, B, you do this, C, watch what B does, D, give the answer, E, explain it, or F, be a bank. Such different responsibilities are given. All group members will have to take it up. We would have explored it in different ways. Similarly, explain. The facilitator would ask a member to explain what a group did, and the other members will have to explain what happened. These explore and explain stages go together. We have to explain after exploring. So whichever way they explore, it will be explained immediately. What will the facilitators understand? They will get to know if the children have understood the concept well or not. In this elaborate stage, what we do is we give different TLMs to different groups. So every group can learn the same concept using different teaching and learning material. Another observation here is a lot of cross-learning happens here. Every child has a different way of learning. So while learning in a group, they learn different methods of learning too. That is, which style or way is used by members of their group can be discussed as well as learnt. This group activity helps every child learn mathematics, and every child can benefit from this group activity. For one concept, there can be different TLMs in different groups. One group may have base 10 blocks, one group may have play money, another group might have abacus. So what happens here is the children will have an enthusiasm to use a different TLM. So how can I quickly solve this problem with this TLM and get the next TLM will be their focus. With that enthusiasm, they will learn quickly. In group learning, which is different from traditional learning, we can witness a lot of energy and happiness, and learning happens very effectively. Since every child has learnt it well, it will remain with them permanently and concepts will be understood clearly. In this method, there is a chance of noise in the school, a lot of noise and sound because children have lot of energy. So they will make noise, they will talk to their peers. We may feel there is a lot of noise, but it is happening because of the happy learning. What do we call this? We call this the positive noise. Since good learning is happening, we should not call this noise. The facilitators should be happy because they achieved what they had set out to do in the classroom. If we need discipline and silence during the group learning, facilitators can put down certain rules. If the children are told what they can and cannot do right at the beginning, these problems can be avoided. Even then, when the noise is happening, the facilitators should take it as a positive noise because learning is happening. What should the facilitators see? They should see if the talk is about the concept. If they are talking about something else, we need to take disciplinary action. If they are talking about the concept, then we need to know it is for good. Sometimes in the kit that we have given, the TLMs might not be enough for all the groups. What can be done then? One solution is, if one group is given abacus, the other can be given play money, the other can be given base 10 blocks. Then every group will get sufficient TLMs. This play money, since we have enough play money, everyone can get play money. If that is not sufficient either, we can use local items or do it yourself, where TLMs can be made by ourselves. They can make TLMs using their books or cardboard so that there is one for every group. Since the math kit is made with social welfare in mind, nobody has a copyright. Since this is Creative Commons, any teacher can do it on their own and replicate it, and they can create their own necessary TLMs. If we have multiple graders in a single classroom, that is 4th and 5th grades in the same room, what we have to do is we will have to redistribute the syllabus to ensure one concept in a single period. So if the 3rd graders are doing addition and the 4th graders are also doing addition, they can do it together as a group activity.